Well, it's windy, stormy, snowy, and it's supposed to start coming down here pretty soon. A little more than it is. With the rain to begin with, it's 43 degrees. Doesn't feel like it because of the wind, but it's what it is. And obviously that tarp's not being super successful right now. There you can see the snow's picking up. So I'm going to get it working on the ceiling. That'll serve as the roof until we get something over top of that tarp paper or roofing felt. And for now, that's where we're at. That's what it's going to be. So I got to tear apart some pallets and then get some things together and see how far I can get. So these are the pallets I've got. These are 8 foot, these are about 7.5, these are 10 foot, and the tearing apart and separating them. 10 foot there, 7.5 here, 8 here. The 8 foots are what I'm going to use for the roof. And I was planning on using the 10 feet and the 8 feet for the roofing panels. I was thinking though, I might want to do, just to make them easier to move, I might want to do the ceiling and roof in panels that are smaller than 8 by 10. And so I might end up doing that. And what that'd be is put them in halves or in thirds. We'll see. To the point where I can put them up in a manageable panel, and they'll be secured at more points with the longer screws, but they will be easier to assemble, disassemble, and move without taking the whole thing apart, because logistically transporting an 8 by 10 by 1.5 inch panel of wood is not as easy as something maybe 3 by 8 by 1.5 inch, where I can pile it in the back of the truck safely. So we'll probably be doing that, but I'll give it a try and see what I think, and that'll make it easier to assemble, easier to move, safer to get up there by myself. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. I haven't put anything up yet, but that is the plan. So just wanted to give that little update and show you what I'm doing here. We've got them stacked sideways so that I can be out of the snow and be dry. And that's alright, because I got plenty of uses for the 10-foot lengths if I don't use them for the roof. So that's it for now. I'm going to get to tearing these apart and putting together some sections. And I might be using, what I'm going to try first is, see here, there's the 6 inch by 4 feet panels, and I'll probably give some of those a try, and to use those as the main frames for up top, and so the ceiling will look like this when you look at the side, just these two pieces together in panels that are solid instead of skipped like the spaces that are in the pallet. And I bought some screws that will not stick out, and so I got 1-inch screws. The cheapest, the only 1-inch screws I could find were these, and I got them because I don't want them to stick all the way through, because this is going to be the inside ceiling where everyone is. So figure that with the inch screw we can put it through. I can screw it in a bit so that it's tight and secure, and not have to worry about it poking my kids in the head when they stand up and run around, because they're kids. So let me get this open and compare the length to what I need. a 1 pound box, costs about $6. These are screws that I'd be using anyways for other stuff, and if I screw them in and they go halfway through the first one, they'll still be halfway through the second one, of course without that gap. See if we can find a spot. Here we go, no gap. So they're just below. They're going to be about like that, and that's exactly what I wanted, where they are not all the way through, so they're not poking anybody or cutting anybody, or stabbing them in the head. I've been in attics in the past where I've stood up and caught a screw in the skull because I didn't realize it was there. Hurt, bled, all sorts of stuff. Worry about tetanus and such. And so that's what I'm going to use to assemble these. Once I get these, take it apart, and I'm going to do them in sections that'll look pretty much this size. There'll just be no gaps between the boards, or as little as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got this one halfway apart, and as soon as I get one together, I'll go ahead and put it up there, and if I like it, I'll attach it, and I'll keep you updated as we go. And there you can see it's snowing, and the wind has been blowing, and so we're working uncovered, unfortunately, but that's all the more reason for me to hustle and get things moving. So that's where we're at, and I'll keep you updated as we're going. Hey, by the way, I appreciate you hitting that thumbs up and the subscribe button. So thanks for that. And we'll see you as we go. Okay, here I'm laying out the first 4x8 section. I'm going to screw it together and then put it up and see how that goes. So here it goes. Alright, well, put a quick stop to it. What I found out was these 1 inches, even though I was thinking it was going to drive in a little bit and through, maybe halfway, just based on what I've seen in the past. What I've found out is put it together, push hard, screw it in, that's all it's going, you see? It's only sticking out that far. So, I've got to go and get the 1 1/4 inch long so they actually grab, and that's good because these I'll use for other projects, but the 1 1/4 inches are actually at a lower price than these are, so that's beneficial for the overall cost. So we'll see what I use those for, but it's not going to be this project. And for the price of 2 of these boxes, I can get of these 1 pound boxes, I can get a 5 pound box of the 1 1/4, and so I'm not too worried about that. But obviously I'm going to have to do that before I do anything else, and I haven't been upstairs, but I know this was clear when I started, so that's at least that much snow upstairs. And so I need to go and get this going so I can start getting it covered with its roof and ceiling. And that's a bummer because I was right about to get going with actually getting some panels up, and it's not going to happen. So we'll just go as we go, and that's it. So frustration, but it's my own fault for not measuring, trying it out first. But that's how it goes, so that's all right. I'm just glad I can use those for something else. But I think it's about $12 and change after tax for the 5-pound box of the longer ones. That'll be good, and that'll give me another 1/4 inch pass, so that'll be about 1/3 of an inch into the other one, and should be enough to grab. But I'm gonna give it a test first because I think I've got one of the longer ones, so I'll go do that and make sure before I come home with something different. It's snowing a little bit. Alright, so here's the first panel, and it's the 8 foot long, and there's a little overhang there, but it's 39 inches of boards, and that's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boards. And it has supports underneath it's got the wide boards under the ends, skinny boards in the middle, wide board on the end, and these are going to sit on the rafters, so they'll all be supported the same width. Now this is going to be the top side, so this will be, since it's the first panel, this is just extra, that's not connected. This is going to be the side that is at the bottom of the roof, that'll go up. And that'll be a little thinking of whether I'm going to leave that overlap, or I think I'm just going to trim it off so that I can sit each piece flush. And what that'll do is make it so that it doesn't matter where it goes, it'll be all the same, but the inside will be this here. And I'll sand the color off there that shouldn't be there, and so that's what's going to be look up at as the interior ceiling. That'll be the top, that'll be the bottom, so I'm going to trim those off. And after I go through and put the screws in, I have to go and make sure nothing's sticking out so that we don't poke ourselves in the head when we stand up. There's a perfect example. That one's through a little bit too much, so I'll have to withdraw that a little bit, just unscrew it a little, and that'll be safe. And that's how I'm doing it. And then I'll take each of those panels one at a time and use some longer screws and attach it to the rafters. One at the top, one at the bottom, and I think that'll be adequate. So I might do one in the center as well, but for sure, top, bottom, and each rafter, maybe center. We'll see. And that's how they're going to go up. Well, I've got the first panel up, and I got to be honest, I built that one inside like you saw, and climbed up, I propped it up on the side there, and I climbed up and pulled it up, and that was a pain and danger, and I don't want to do it again. So I talked a little bit with my brother, and he said we'll build it in place. So the next one, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll build it over here, and I'm going to do a stretch like this, because then at the same time I was thinking, well, how am I going to put the roofing felt on there, and you know that's going to be dangerous and such. So what I'll do is I'll get a stretch 2 panels long, from one end to the next, and then I'll put on the tar paper or roofing felt or whatever you want to call it, and then I'll put the next one up as far as it's going to go there, and then just leave it folded over until I get the next set of panels on, and can put that up as well, and staple that on is what I'll do. And that's the way we'll do it. I've got enough materials right now for 6 panels identical to that one. It's not going to get us all the way done, but it'll be a start and a big help, and hopefully we can get enough to finish the other side next week, or within this next week, and get enough material so that next set of days I get to work on it, we can get it done. But we'll see, and then I'll just figure out what I got to do to get the very top covered. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, like I have with the whole project. Anyways, I'm excited to share that with you. That's the first panel on the roof, and it feels cool to be at that point. It'll feel even cooler when it's finished. But you can see there's a gap under there for the height of the rafters that we'll have to close off after we get the ceiling done. And I measured and set things out, and that support, at least it sits on there a little bit, sits on a lot more, pretty much all the way at the top end of that. But building them in place is going to be way better because it'll be safer and won't lean as much. And I mean, I won't lean as far over the edge. Like right now, I've got to lean all the way from the top there, 39 inches from this point to that point there. So it's a lot of leaning. Let's see, as far as I can lean, honestly. So from there to here, I can't lean, so I'll have to figure something out to get the screws in there. I'll have to do that with a ladder later when I get the chance. Not right now because everything's full of snow and slippery, so I'm not going to do that. Anyways, what I'm going to do is continue on. Got things set up, so I'm going to shimmy this tarp over to this side and work on that panel. So I have put in more anchoring screws than I talked about earlier, just because I wanted to be real solid. And like I said, I need to get some down here in this corner, but I put one in every plank all the way up on the end, and one at the bottom, one at the center, and one at the top on the middle 2 rafters. And that's where we're at. It looks like it's leaning down toward this side over here, just like it's lower. Might just be my point of view, but that's kind of seems that way. I don't know, but that's how it's going up. So let me take you upstairs and we'll look at the inside. So here I've got just the 2 10-foot pallets to take apart, and everything else is emptied and taken apart. These are 7.5-foot boards. The 8-foot boards are all upstairs. This is a 10-foot board that I brought down from up top, and I thought I was going to use those. What a great idea to do these in smaller panels. It's going to be better when I move this. It's going to be better now. So anyways, let's head up here. Up the ladder to the loft area. Let's get some light going. That's better. And here you can see these are piles. Each pile is the materials that we need for one panel. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 complete panels. And here you can see there's the gap under the rafters that I'll have to close up. But this is what the ceiling is going to look like. It'll be just like that, all the way above the ridge line, down the other side, and I'll get more of that going tomorrow, so you'll be able to see more then. It's gonna look awesome. All right, back at it today. I've got a limited day because it's partial work day, but you'll see a little of how I'm doing this, and I'll just keep at it as I get the chance. All right, little update. So first I wanted to say, hey, I got different size screws. I was able to return the others that I just opened. They didn't give me any problem with that. I got a 1¼ inch instead of 1 inch. That grabs real well, and I do have to be careful to back it out a little bit if I need, if it's poking through. I just want to make sure that nothing's hurting anybody, but because of the way I'm doing it, I don't even have to worry about that now. And the reason is that I am assembling them in place, still doing it in a way that I'll be able to take it down. I'll have to get new roofing felt or tar paper next time when I move it. That's not really a big deal to me. I'll use what I've got, and what I have is this roll. It's 40 inches by however long it's used, so I don't know if there's going to be enough there, but if not, then I'll just go grab a new roll. It's like $22 plus tax or something like that for a roll. That roll itself for that size would cover the whole thing, but since I have this, I'm going to start with it. That may or may not be enough. I don't know. It's just whatever it is. And at that point, when it's gone, I'll go get more. But from the looks of it, I think it might be enough to get this side done. Now let me get over here and show you. So this is 39 inches. The roll's 40 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to staple it on, and I'll go ahead and put on a length here, and then I'll measure it out and just pre-cut it. That way I'm not trying to roll the whole thing and roll it off the end and drop it and all that sort of hassle. And I'll just cut it a little long, staple it over the edge a little, an inch or so. And so then I'll leave the top so that I can, it'll just be tucked. I'll just be able to tuck that last little inch under. Might even not need to do that. I might just put it flush with the top and leave a little overhang on the bottom, trim it if I need to. That way that's what I'll do. That way it's real easy. This next set I'll just put on as I go, and I'll overlap some, so I'm gonna be missing a little bit of the length anyway, so I'll have to do 4 passes across this to cover the whole thing, but the 4th one will overlap and be the 4th one on the other side as well, so it'll be 3 layers overlapping, so the bottom, middle, top, and then a cap layer that'll cover both sides. And so I don't know if I'll have time, but I've been trying because I got a meeting right in the middle of the day today that I have to go to. So if I have time, I've just been trying to prepare everything so that when I get going, it's smooth sailing. But what I'll do is go ahead and put paper over there, the tar paper over this, and then I'll go on for the next row. And what I've done, you can see here, I've prepared the screws that are going into the ends, because those are the only ones I can guarantee that are in exactly the right spot without having to measure and waste time doing that. Because once I get it on here, see, I've got these wide boards that I'm using to attach to the rafters, and I've put a couple of screws in just to hold it in place while I'm getting it attached, and then these screws I take out as I get up to them with the planks that form the ceiling. And the reason I'm doing that is because then I just have the long screws that are periodic, and so they're on every board on the ends, but not on every board in the middle. Here they're the top, the center board, and the bottom. And what that'll do is allow for it to never have to worry about blowing in the wind or anything. It's real solid, you know. That's and it's gonna be easier because I just have to remove, so, you know, one in each end, two occasionally on the outside, but in the center it's just one. But then the panels are 8 feet by 39 inches. It's you know, something I can handle, and I'll just get some straps to lower them down when I take it off. But building them in place is going to be faster and easier. It's going to eliminate the need for straps and raising and all that jazz. But I've tacked down with those 2 screws each at every rafter to the top, and then at the top you can see there's about 4 inches above the rafter where I'll just have to put a little piece and connect those. And what I might do is, since I've got these boards here, if they're just right, then I'll go ahead and just lay them across, because they're long enough. I can just trim them to sit between, or from rafter to rafter. But we'll see. That'd be easy enough. Then I would just double them up, and that'd be the same height as this. And one side will come up and but to the other side like this, so they sit flush. And then I'll work on the other side. So right now I have enough material here to finish all of this side and get one panel on the other side. And once I get that done, I'll have to wait till I get more material to proceed. But I'm hoping that I can make this side done today. This is the east facing roof surface, and it feels really cool to have some of this going up. It's exciting. It's a big accomplishment, really, because I've never done anything like this before. So again, on the inside you can see it's like that. I'm gonna have the tar paper on the other side, so it's going to make it so we don't have to worry about water coming in. And those little gaps are just where the boards are a little bit thinner. And I think I was planning on putting those on the upside rather than the downside, like I did over here. But that's alright. I can see this is what it's going to look like. As it goes up, it'll just continue to look like that. And then I'll have to close the gaps here and around the edges, because here there's a gap as well. And so that'll be easy enough. I'll show you how I decide to do that when I get to it. But I want to get it covered to begin with, and then I'll get those spaces covered so that we don't have critters coming in. And that's all she wrote for now. So thanks for paying attention to the update, watching it, spending your time with me, and I'll keep you updated as I go. So I also want to say thanks for subscribing to my channel. That helps. And for giving me that thumbs up and leaving a comment. If you got any advice, then please let me have it. And if I need to buy more roofing felt, then please, if you've got experience with a certain kind that was good or was bad, please let me know, because I definitely appreciate skipping over the bad experiences, especially with that information. So please just leave that in the comments, and I appreciate it. And thank you much. Well, that's how it looks so far with those two panels. And it's not going to look like that all the way up, because I'm going to get that tar paper on there. So it'll be black before I do anything farther up, because I want to be able to reach down to the end. And so that's what we're going from. And just wanted to give you that view as well. So I actually like that I'm taking my brother's advice and building them in place. It's gonna be faster, it's gonna be safer and easier, and things will be lined up a lot better, more to my liking. You can see on the first one down here. Let's see if I can zoom in here and show you that that's not quite to the edge of that rafter, and the rest of them are. I can just guarantee that. So that's something that it's going to be better. And then let's look at how it is on the other side. So over here we've got just the opposite. Obviously it's a little over, and then from there on it's just exactly at the edge. So I was able to line it up instead of trying to guess. But it does help having that bottom one in place. It makes it a lot easier. But that's how she's setting, and hopefully we'll get some time. I gotta get cleaned up and head to my meeting, and then we'll see how things go time-wise this afternoon. So thanks for taking your time to check this out. Okay, so that's it for tonight. And let's see here. That's zoomed out all the way, so that top white line that you can see is the very top of the roof. And the top of the ceiling. So you can see the spot where I patched. And this is the first time I put tar paper up. It was cold, it's old, and I'm not really happy with it. I might just put a layer over the top of it, because I gotta buy some for the other side anyways. You saw me use the end of the roll. Anyways, let's go ahead and go upstairs and see what it looks like on the inside. So as we go up the ladder, we now have a ceiling, a shadow. So over here in the corner as far as I can for you. There's the outside. There's the inside. looking through the rafters on the other side. And so that is the east facing roof, and the west facing roof will come up and just meet right next to that one, and then I'll tar paper right over the top. Let me get you a look from the top. Go up this ladder. And now you can see that what looked like the white line from below. Not a perfect job with the tar paper, but it's there and done. So that's what it is. I'm okay with that. And so that is, this side is completely done. I'm going to talk about the stapler that I was using, because I'm not happy with it. It's definitely going back. And at one point, every single staple I had to adjust it for. There you can see my patch job right there, where it tore. But it's all overlapped, the higher on top of the lower, and so that side is as complete as it can be without working on the other side. Now you can really see the gaps I was talking about that will have to be filled in, and over here as well. But getting to it, hey, once we got things systematic, it went up pretty decent. Just had to be able to dedicate the time to it. But that side's done. I've got one pile for one section of a 39 by 8 foot there that'll be okay for this side. So when I get a chance, I'll be able to start on that. And now I know I want to put up the tar paper as I go, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But I'll have to go buy another roll, and so I'm going to go ahead and get this content out to you so you can see it, because I don't want you to have to wait for the whole thing, because I know it's going to be another week before I can get something worth uploading to you, because I'm going to be busy for the next few days and not available to be out here getting things done like I'd like to. But it'll be good progress. I met my goal down to the last minute. I couldn't work anymore if I wanted to, time wise. It is time to be quiet, and this is amazing. Like I say, I've never done anything like this before, and so to be at this point, I'm so excited. I think that because this is so low impact, I'm not moving a ton, not moving the edifice much. I might just go ahead and start putting the windows in when I get a shorter amount of free time. So I believe I will get this up when I get a chance, and then get the windows in if I don't have enough materials to do anything else with. So that's where I'm at and where I'll be. And you can see that between the purlins and the ceiling and the ridge beam and the ceiling, since I've set the rafters above those, there's space, so that'll be cool. And I made sure, I'll comment more on that here in a sec, but I've made sure that there are no screws sticking through where they're gonna poke us and stab someone's hand or their head or something. And so I don't have to worry about, like, if someone jumps and they hit themselves, or if they reach up to play, they're not gonna cut their hand. Yeah, could get a sliver, but when you're using not super processed wood, and it's just rough cut basically, then that's always a possibility. But the gaps here, so fun because you can hang on them and swing on them and things like that. And I could put up a swing, which I might do at some point, but whether it's over the loft or really long and down to the bottom, through over the balcony part, where it's just vaulted to the top, I don't know, but we'll see how things turn out. But I'm absolutely certain that I'm going to be putting some spots for hanging hammocks over here, or at least, maybe crisscross, one from that end to this end. I'll be able to do that for sure, and I'll put some mounting locations up so you don't have to just wrap it around, but it's actually specifically intended for that. And so that's where we're at and where we'll be, like I say. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate that. I've got more subscribers than I ever have, and I just want to thank you all for taking the time to do that and to watch my content, because these videos are sharing something I'm passionate about, sharing ticking off something off of my bucket list, and something that's going to be a source of peace and studying, and joy and fun with the family, and just, it's another first. I've never done this before, so that's the first time, and it's getting really close to being functional. I'm just so excited about that. I appreciate your sharing in that joy with me. Thank you, and thanks for your comments as well. And you'll see me next time.